Hey, it's Joey with Imzz Elite. We're back in the shop today. We're going to do the Imzz Elite ARP rear shock hardware on this 14 Street Bob today. It's going to be the same process for all 06 to 17 dynos. Let me get a seat and we'll get started. In the top. The one that all the girls use for winter, eggplant. It says need your eggplant. You may have to remove this back wheel to completely tighten down this nut here. Sometimes it'll grab on the back of the shock mount and you'll be able to torque this bolt all the way down, but a lot of times it'll just spin. So you may have to loosen this wheel and either push forward or push back to be able to get a 9/16 12 point on that nut.
All right, go ahead and take a 3/4 socket on a ratchet and break your top shock bolt loose. You're gonna break that acorn nut loose. As soon as you get the top one broken, then take your T45 Torx. And you're gonna want to break the bottom shock bolt loose. You're also gonna need a 3/4 wrench because that bottom bolt has a nut on the back side. Go ahead and take your 3/4 wrench and just slip it between the shock and the pulley. You'll see the nut. Break that bolt loose also. Come around to the other side and repeat the same step. Your 3/4 socket, break the top shock bolt loose, and then using a T45 you're going to break the bottom one loose. On this right side you won't need the 3/4 wrench. The lower shock mount on the right side is threaded, so there is no nut. Now that you've broken everything loose, go ahead and pull that top acorn nut off all the way. You're going to go ahead and grab your new 12-point ARP nut that comes in the kit for the top. Throw a little drop of red Loctite in there. Go ahead and start that finger tight. Once you get it started, you can go ahead and use your ratchet and just give it a couple turns just to make sure it doesn't back off. After you snug that top ARP nut, you're going to go ahead and use your T45 and back your bottom shock bolt out all the way. Here we're on the right side, so it's the threaded side. There is no nut to worry about. Once you've removed that stock bolt out, go ahead and throw a drop of red Loctite on the new ARP bolt that comes in the kit. And go ahead and replace that stock bolt with that ARP now that you've dropped some Loctite on it. Once you get it started by hand, making sure not to cross thread the bolt, just go ahead and use a 9/16 12 point and tighten down both of those 12-point ARP nuts. Once you torque down both your right side bolts, go ahead and move on over to the left. Since you already broke these loose in the beginning, we're going to go ahead and use that 3/4 socket and remove the top acorn nut. And then replace the acorn nut with the 12-point ARP nut that comes in the kit. Making sure to use Loctite just like you did on the right side. Again, start finger tight. Just give it a couple turns with the ratchet. And then take your T45 again and your 3/4 wrench. Don't forget this left side has that nut on the back. You'll notice there's a washer stack that comes in the kit. It's going to be the ARP bolt and the black washer and your beauty washer. You're going to slide that through the shock and then through the frame and the shock mount. And on the back side will be black washer and then your 12-point ARP nut. Make sure to use Loctite on that ARP bolt. Go ahead and get everything started finger tight. Once you've gotten everything started, just like the other side, go ahead and use your 9/16 12-point socket. Torque both of your new ARP shock hardware bolt and nut down. Once everything's torqued down, you're ready to get out there and fucking rip.
Yo,